Two-time World Cup soccer star Jozy Altidore hanging out with us here on APG. We just put up the stats there, Jozy. Not so great after the World Cup for the U.S. men's national team. I know Tim Howard's not playing right now, but what can you attribute to the lack of success?
Well, I think you look at the team at the minute, and you look at a lot of the guys that have come in. I think the teams have been in a transition moment right now. You have a lot of young guys coming in and getting their first caps, and I think they need their time to kind of get accustomed to the higher level. And I think that's a natural process that any national team goes to. Any team.
Even your coach, Jurgen Klinsmann, attributes the drop-off. He says the fitness and the expectations after World Cup for this team or lack thereof for the United States men's national team. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, I think I think a lot of the guys, like I said before, it's a bit of a transition, and then, you look at MLS, the calendar, and a lot of the teams, a lot of the players now are in preseason. So, you look at the first 60 minutes of that Chile game, and I thought the guys did really well. I thought we played really well for parts of the game, and then we kind of ran out of gas. It's almost similar to like the NFL, where they play 3 quarters with the first team, and then the fourth quarter they kind of bring in guys to kind of get experience and get a game in. So, as the game is still important, you still have to understand that, a lot of guys are getting their first cap and they're getting their first experiences as well.
I like how you broke that down. It's almost like this is the preseason, and when the regular season really comes here, when it really matters, you guys are going to be fine. So the message that you're sending out there to our viewers is that the U.S. men's national team is going to be just fine when it matters.
I think so. I think we're gonna right this ship with no problems.
All right, tell me about returning to the MLS after 7 years. What made you come back?
Well, I think the project in Toronto was something I think that any player would be excited about. You look at the city, the type of organization they have behind the team, the fans. It really excited me, and I thought this was an opportunity I couldn't let pass up. It's one that's going to test me in a lot of ways, a lot of similar ways that I was tested in Europe. So I figured it was a step in the right direction and a step that can help me improve as a player and a person.
Yeah, you said test you. What do you think this is going to do for your career? Things didn't go as planned or as maybe you expected in Sunderland. What do you think this return to the MLS would do for you personally?
Yeah, to get back on the field and to get back playing again. I mean, I'm still fairly young. I like to think so, 25, and I think I have a lot ahead of me. So I think to kind of get more games down in my belt and be in an environment, again, that's challenging me every day, I think that'll be important and hopefully lead Toronto to an appearance in the playoffs would be also great.
What went wrong in Sunderland? Why didn't it work out as far as you scoring a lot of goals there?
I think sometimes, in any sport, you have certain players maybe don't fit in certain systems or certain teams don't fit the player. And I think that's all it was. I don't have any bad blood with anybody at Sunderland or anything of that matter. I just think it didn't fit, and it was best that we separated.
A lot of people will say that know about soccer, including your coach, Jurgen Klinsmann, will say that it's better. He likes the U.S. men's team to play in Europe where the competition is much higher than coming to the MLS where the competition isn't as intense. Have you talked to Jurgen Klinsmann about your return to the MLS?
Oh, of course. I mean, he's been very open, very honest about how he feels certain players should approach certain situations in their career. But I think it matters from player to player. It differs. So for me, I thought, this particular challenge that I have in Toronto, I think will still help me improve and will still help me keep my level high enough to contribute at the national team, or else I wouldn't have made this decision. Why
do you think so many U.S. men's national team players, star players, are returning from Europe and coming back to the MLS like yourself?
Like I said, I think every guy's situation is different. I think you look at a guy like Mix, it's a great opportunity for him in New York, where he has a team that's going to have a lot of expectations as well, with hopefully a really good fan base there. Myself and Mikey in Toronto, the project there is great. They never made the playoffs, and for us to kind of help propel that team, along with the new signing of Giovinco, to try to make that team a playoff team, I think that takes a lot out of a person. I think your character will show at the end of that, and I think, it's something that we're all excited about.
You bring up Mikey. Mikey is Michael Bradley, of course. He's your new teammate, former teammate in the United States men's national. Mikey, no. He likes it. Before I let you go, what's the major difference in the fan bases overseas in Europe as compared here to the United States?
Well, obviously in Europe they had a head start on things. Obviously they have teams. Their clubs go back to being founded hundreds of years ago. So, in that regard, it's a bit different. But in terms of play and getting the game more exposure, I think that we're on the right track. And obviously we have to be patient, but I think you see the type of players we attracted now, guys like Giovinco, who are still fairly young in their prime years, and Kaká, David Villa. I think it speaks volumes for how the league has developed and where it continues to grow.
Jozy, man, best of luck with your new team up there in Toronto and Michael Bradley and everybody, and welcome back home, my man.
All right, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.